Hands up! What the f*** is wrong with you? Hands by your back. Hands by your back. I'm here.
Yeah, you're not listening. I got one already, don't you?
What's going on?
This arrest is over 22 years in the making. When officers found a woman murdered inside her home, they uncovered several clues, but none that led them to a suspect. As the case slowly ran cold, investigators continued pressing on until a final DNA breakthrough revealed a killer who had been hiding in plain sight all along.
Erase that or any of the stuff that was on there for the past 3 weeks, is it still there?
You guys, I don't mean to show any disrespect, but I've been cooperating with you since day one, and I think I've answered enough questions.
There's no tears coming out of your face.
I'm very dry right now.
You're dry?
I'm very dry. I'm parched. I'm dehydrated. You can probably see my eyes are bloodshot red because I'm just tired and drained. I don't know what's going on. You want me to drink water so I can tear? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
On the morning of May 2nd, 2001, emergency lines in Montgomery County received a disturbing call from Drummond Avenue in Chevy Chase, Maryland.
911, what's emergency?
I'm at 4824 Drummond, Chevy Chase. I work for a company, and we didn't have a call from an employee. We just walked in the door, our husband and I, and there's blood in the foyer, and it looks like something possibly happened.
Brett walked into his office and realized that one of his employees, 50-year-old Leslie Preer, had not arrived. As time passed, he called her husband, Carl Preer, known as Sandy to the family, to check on her. That was when both men realized something was wrong. When they rushed into the house, they saw overturned tables and pools of blood staining the walls, with Leslie nowhere to be found, prompting Brett to make his harrowing 911 call.
You're not in the house anymore, are you?
We're in the house right now. The husband's looking around.
What's your first name, sir?
Brett, B-R-E-T-T.
Okay. When was the last time
The last time the husband saw her was 7:45 this morning.
Did she have a car or anything?
No, she was going to walk to the bus.
Okay. Is there a lot of blood?
But it looks like there's possibly, maybe a struggle, a couple things knocked down.
Okay.
When officers rushed into the home, they found Leslie's lifeless body in the bathroom of the master bedroom. The autopsy report would later reveal that Leslie died from multiple blunt force trauma to the head and strangulation, confirming the death as a homicide. Reports also indicated that Leslie had been beaten near the foyer, strangled, and then dragged upstairs, where her lifeless body was dumped in the bathroom.
There were signs of a struggle, but no forced entry. In addition, police report no previous problems in this quiet community, nor do they see any connection to any other crimes unsolved in the county.
To understand what may have happened, detectives decided to speak with Brett. During his conversation with investigators, Brett shared several disturbing observations he had made. Brett said that after Leslie didn't show up at work and no one knew of her whereabouts, he called Leslie's daughter to see if she had a health appointment. And when he found out she didn't, he decided to call her husband, Sandy.
And I said, nobody's heard from her. We've called home and there's no answer or whatever. I even called once and I got the machine that just hung up. I didn't leave a message.
Okay.
And Diane called and left I think she said she left a message. And so then Sandy, his name is Carl, but he's called Sandy.
Okay.
I think it's just
his nickname?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he said, I'm going over there.
All right.
And I said, okay, well, call me when you get over there. So when I hung up, I said to myself, I'm pretty close. I'm going to go over there too. I'm worried. This is my employee.
You knew where she lived?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So you've been here before?
Oh yeah, I've dropped her off a couple times because I go by here.
Okay.
On my way home, like in Bethesda.
All right.
Once a blue moon, I'll take her home.
All right.
He opened the door, and we both went in. And to the left, there was a rug was kind of scrunched up, and he went in right in front of me. And to the right, I saw a purse on the ground, and I looked a little more to the right, and I saw blood all in the right corner behind the door.
How much?
Pretty decent amount. Not like a pool of it, but up against the wall and shoved in the corner.
Okay, so It's up on the wall.
Yes.
And then the amount that's on the floor, was it bigger than your hand?
Yes.
Okay.
Both saw it at the same time. I think I saw the blood first.
Okay.
And I said, oh, and then he said, oh my God. And then he saw that, and I went to the wall, and I said, Sandy, look at this. And then.
What was he doing?
He was going, oh my God. He was just like, I said, Sandy, and he called for her. He was calling for her. Okay. And as he was calling for her, the dog came up the basement.
Okay.
And I said, Sandy, the dog is, he walked around the sides, like where the living room is and back towards the kitchen. And then I said, Sandy, the dog is coming out of the basement. Maybe you should check the basement. Okay. And he checked the basement, and I stayed pretty much in that area. I didn't go anywhere.
In what area?
In the hallway area.
On the first floor?
First floor, right.
Okay.
And I'm there the whole time, just kind of, standing there. And I mean, he wasn't down there more than 2 minutes. He came back up, and I said, why don't you check upstairs? So he checked upstairs, and as he's checking upstairs, I see blood on the steps.
Which steps?
Steps upstairs.
Steps going from the first floor to the second floor? Yes. Okay.
And he came back down, and I said, Sandy, there's some blood splatter. He goes, she's not here, Brett. And I said, okay. I'm sorry, officer. I think right after he went in the basement and came up is when I called 911. As I'm outside, Sandy goes, the only thing I did, I said, Sandy, did you check everywhere? And he says, Brett, I didn't check the bathroom. And I said, all right, well, whatever. And about 5 minutes later, the officer comes out, and his face just said everything. He walked up to Sandy and said, your wife is dead. And that's about it. Okay.
Sandy's interview also confirmed everything that Brett had shared.
I yelled Leslie. First thing I noticed was that usually there's that small corner stand. I noticed that was flipped over into the dining room. I think at that point in time, I believe Brett said was something like, "Oh my God," or "We got to call the police." And that's when we turned around and saw the blood on where the door opens up.
Okay. What about in the front foyer? Wasn't there a rug there?
There was a rug there. And the rug was over on the other side of the partition that was in there.
Was there anything else on the floor?
The only
other than what you saw, the blood and.
Well, there was a soup label with the blood dried around it on the floor. Mm-hmm. Went upstairs, looked into the master bedroom. Just looked in from the doorway, the front room. I didn't look in I didn't look in either one of the bathrooms upstairs.
Any particular reason why you didn't do that?
No. Then went back downstairs and went into the basement. After that, I think Brett was calling 911 then when I was coming back upstairs.
Given that the house showed no signs of forced entry, investigators began to suspect that the killer was someone Leslie knew. They spoke with neighbors, along with Leslie's friends and family, carefully assembling an exhaustive list of potential suspects. Yet none of the evidence seemed to lead anywhere, and the list quietly fell apart. Another detail troubled investigators. Experts were unable to pinpoint a specific time of death, with some speculating that Leslie may have died the night before. And if she had died that morning, as Sandy claimed, it seemed strange to investigators that some of the blood at the crime scene had already dried by the time they arrived. In his second interview with detectives, Sandy shared that while their marriage was going through turmoil, things seemed all right the night before Leslie's murder, and that he did see her the following morning.
So you're leaving the house at about 7:45, somewhere right around in there. And that's when you tell us. And where was Leslie at that time? I recall her waving to me, out the door. And I could usually grab the newspaper and throw it up there, but I think, like I said that day, I'm not sure 100%. If the newspaper was there, I'll throw it up there. If the newspaper's on the lawn, I'll throw it up to the front door. Did you see anybody else in the neighborhood around you when you left? No. Anybody next door, the house next door to you? That's one down from you, I guess. You mean the school teacher? No, the other one. I honestly don't recall for a fact if I saw anybody. Are you friendly with your neighbors? You talk with them? I'm not the friendliest, the most gregarious person in the world, but they're outside. I'll say hello.
They're getting in their car.
Sure. Yeah, they're getting in the car, and I see them. I'll wave bye to them. I see the lady that works, Meg. I think it's Meg, who lives next door. I see her a lot coming out because we kind of leave at the same time.
Okay. Was she out when you left Tuesday?
She was. I can't remember if it was that day or not. I mean, I can't say for a fact if she was there or not. I just can't remember.
Okay. I don't remember waving to her, exchanging a pleasantry, good morning, or beautiful day, or
not that morning. I have. If she was out there, I would have. But that day, I can't.
Okay, so if she had been out there on Tuesday morning, you would have waved.
I would have waved because every time we do it, we say hello.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yes, right.
Yes, because we see each other off and on because we have about the same schedule. If she was out there, she may have been able to say yes.
So it's your habit that if you do see her that you always.
That's right.
The neighbor, however, told detectives that they were surprised Sandy had greeted them that morning, as he was never the one to do so. On that day, his behavior seemed almost deliberate, as if he wanted them to notice him leaving for work for them. The DNA found under Leslie's fingernails of an unknown male. When all other probable suspects tested negative, including any items found inside the house, investigators couldn't shake the feeling that Sandy had been involved. By this point, Sandy had hired an attorney, fueling further suspicion. And when he showed up for a third interview on May 24th, 22 days after his wife's murder, detectives became confrontational.
Just forgot one dollar.
Okay. How you doing?
All right, how about yourself?
Not bad, not bad.
Good.
Let's see, I need to get you this.
Oh, I probably don't know the answer machine at home. Just to clarify that. Have you erased that or any of the stuff that was on there for the past 2 weeks? Is it still there?
You guys, I don't mean to show any disrespect, but I've been cooperating with you since day one, and I think I've answered enough questions.
Just about the answer machine? I don't understand.
My attorney said not to answer any more questions. And again, I don't mean to show any disrespect to you guys at all.
Well, I can't tell you what to do, Sandy, okay? I can suggest some things, though. You gotta live with yourself.
I sure as heck have to.
And sometimes folks, even if they're attorneys, can't tell you how to live with yourself.
I can live with myself.
Can't tell you how to do the right thing. Can't tell you how to put closure to some things and to allow other people maybe to get closure. Specifically Lauren.
Lauren, Sandy and Leslie's daughter, had been through a lot since losing her mother and remained cooperative with investigators throughout. And while no one would know this for a long time, it would ultimately be something from Lauren's past that held the key to solving this twisted case.
Like I said before, we all do things that we sometimes regret. Doesn't make you a bad person. Just means that sometimes you just lost it for that minute. And I'm not trying to sit here in judgment, neither is Mike. But there's some things that you gotta try to do to set things straight, especially for other folks, because we all know what happened. And I think it'd be a travesty for Lauren for her to go through the rest of her doggone life trying to figure out just what the hell happened.
It's bad enough for her to deal with the grief of the loss of her mother. But I think also she's a forgiving person.
I would love to respond to these questions.
Well, you can.
But my attorney said not to.
A free white over 21 said you can do any doggone thing you want to do.
Say a prayer? Yes. Hey, Carmen, how you doing? Yes, I'm here right now. They're kind of grilling me. Mm-hmm. Oh, I did. To a degree. All right, will do. Okay. All right, bye. I've been instructed not to talk to you.
I have the telephone.
Saved by the bell.
Without my attorney present.
Saved by the bell. Come on, Sandy, the inevitable.
Let me say this. I'll stay here all night with you guys and listen to you talk. But I repeat, I'm not saying anything unless my lawyer's here.
I want you to do the right thing, Sandy. I want you to tell us what, I want you to do what you need to do. For you and for everybody else, okay? I don't care if you got your attorney here. I don't care.
But let me ask you this. Am I allowed to walk out that door right now?
Absolutely.
Okay, then I'd prefer to walk
Then you're out of here?
Investigators proceeded to take pictures of Sandy, checking for scratches or signs of defensive wounds, but found nothing. And the biggest blow, his DNA did not match the sample found under Leslie's fingernails. And despite his innocence, questions lingered. Most importantly, whether he might have hired someone else. A year passed, and investigators brought in Lauren Prier to give her an update on her mother's case. And what they were about to tell her was not going to be easy.
Not under the circumstances under which you lost your mother, which makes it even more difficult, I think. But, and it's frustrating for us because my gut feeling is that your dad had something to do with this. Mm-hmm. I've just been a cop too many years. I've worked too many cases. It is so bizarre to think that this could be someone else. Well, okay. And the issue that I think your dad told you, he flunked the polygraph when we talked with him. Miserably. I mean, the guy said it was one of the worst failures that he'd seen. It was 100%.
Is that totally abnormal?
Yeah. Because, and everybody thinks, well, he's nervous, he's upset. Mm-hmm. But what they do, any of these polygraph operators, when they do this job, they take into consideration the manner in which your mom was killed, she was strangled, and she had a lot of blunt force trauma to her head. Depicts a lot of rage, anger, personal rage, anger, usually not directed at a person who doesn't know that other person.
I just don't believe it could happen. And of course, I don't believe it could happen. I've never seen that side of him, and I don't think that and as the kind of person he is, I don't think he would just live the rest of his life with a lie and look me in my eyes and I just have a really hard time coming to grips with that situation. And then I don't think he would do that to me because he thinks, I think he thinks if I feel like he's going to give her stuff, then I'm going to be 5 times worse of fear. So I think he's trying to hold up a he's definitely broken down. We've definitely had hard talks and definitely seen him cry, but never an all-out emotional
heart-to-heart talks about
just how we both feel and just how I feel and just sadness and he misses her.
But despite their suspicions, detectives found no solid proof against Sandy, and with no new leads or evidence emerging, the case slowly began to run cold. By 2010, nearly a decade after Leslie's murder, detectives continued circling back through their notes, revisiting neighbors, searching for anything that might finally bring answers to the grieving family. But nothing surfaced, and Sandy continued to remain a lingering suspect. In 2017, Sandy passed away after a long illness, and many believed that with him, all the answers to Leslie's case had died as well. But what no one knew at that time was that those answers were still out there, tied to someone else. In 2022, more than 2 decades after Leslie's murder, Detective Tara Augustine joined Detective Dupuy on the case, and together they turned to the latest technology, forensic genetic genealogy, to trace the unknown male DNA found beneath Leslie's fingernails. Using this method, DNA from the crime scene was compared against profiles in public databases, allowing investigators to identify possible relatives of the suspect. The trail led overseas, revealing an international connection in Romania, suggesting the suspect was likely an American with Romanian ancestry. And soon, the name they uncovered was closer to home than anyone had expected. Running through public records, databases, and obituaries, investigators came across the name Virgil Gligor, and the last name rang a bell. They immediately turned back to the suspect list from the original investigation and found another familiar name, Eugene Gligor, Lauren's high school boyfriend who had several run-ins with the law. Investigators find out that it was a rather serious relationship, as Eugene and Lauren dated for 5 years and broke up when they couldn't work through their long-distance relationship during college. But Eugene being related to someone who matched the DNA in Romania didn't necessarily make him guilty. So detectives brought in his brother, Andre, hoping to learn more about Eugene. Andre shared that while they had attended Leslie's funeral service, Eugene had missed it.
We know that he was out of town. We have like records and things that show that he wasn't in the area at all during the time of the service and things like that. And we thought that was a little bit peculiar because, you know, it's your ex-girlfriend's mother got murdered. That's very serious. I would definitely want to, you know, be there. And obviously you felt compelled to go.
Did I ever walk with Eugene on the bike path? That's a good question. I don't recall. I don't recall specific.
Did your mom go to the funeral with you?
She went. She was there.
Separately, not with you. Okay, how about your dad?
He was there.
Do you recall them wondering where Eugene was?
No. I don't recall them wondering where Eugene was, but there was somebody at the memorial service who said, I think it was a man, there was a man who said, somebody said, where's Eugene?
Okay. But you don't remember an answer?
No.
Okay. And do you remember your parents talking about that being strange or expecting him there and he wasn't there?
Yeah.
And you don't recall any of his travel movements or your parents talking about his travel or any reason why he would be traveling?
No, not. I mean, some maybe months later, it's something about, you know, like, where does Eugene go, or was he out of town? You know, where's Eugene been? And I mean, this like many months later, so my mother just said something about out of town, or I don't remember what she said exactly, but something about out of town. But I don't remember whether it was before or after or what. But
do you know if he was out of town? Do you know how long he was gone?
No.
Where's your mom live now?
In Pennsylvania, outside Philly, retirement community.
Okay. Is she close with Eugene still? Still? What? Did you guys have holidays together before this?
I mean, in the remote past, but not
in the past few years.
Yeah.
And as they dug deeper into Eugene's past, they uncovered a protection petition filed by his ex-wife, one that raised serious red flags. In the petition, she had written how Eugene had once arrived at her home to collect his items after their divorce while she was away. She wrote, "Eugene is an addict and has 2 guns. His behavior has been erratic and scary for a couple of years off and on." She had also gone on to state that Eugene had always called her names and yelled at her. She also stated that he throws objects, punches walls, and I fear for my safety when he has these outbursts. Now, all detectives had to do was determine whether Eugene's DNA matched the sample recovered from the crime scene. They learned he would be returning to the U.S. from an international trip, and as soon as he landed in Dallas, officers brought him aside for a special screening. Several water bottles had been placed inside the interview room, and before long, Eugene took a sip from one and left it behind. When the DNA was tested, it came back as a match. The result finally cleared Sandy's name, ending years of suspicion that followed him until his death. Detectives rushed to Eugene's apartment and waited for him to step out, and as soon as he did, they arrested him.
Hands up! What the f is wrong with you? Hands by your back. Hands by your back. Here.
You're not listening. I got one already, don't you?
What's going on? What is this about?
I got a warrant, bro.
Don't listen to us for someone gets hurt, man. Let's stick to it down.
Can you let my girlfriend know that?
Yeah.
We will. Can you tell me what this is about?
Yeah, you have a warrant. For what? I don't know. Have you done anything recently?
No.
I'm not.
You got a warrant. Our boss is going to tell you everything about it, okay? That's all.
Okay.
He'll tell you, he'll give you a copy of it,
Okay.
and we'll figure out what we're going to do if the magistrate wants to keep you or let you go.
Okay.
So my boss will come here and tell you what the warrant's about,
Okay.
and then we'll go from there, all right?
And this is Billy cutting off the circulation.
We'll adjust it. Hold on. They're not made for comfort, but we'll make it.
I get it.
Yeah, we'll make it. We'll ease it up on it. Yeah, no problem, man. I ain't got nothing personal wrong with you.
Yeah.
Do you go to the office, or what do you do?
No, I work from home.
Okay. What were you doing out here? Just chilling out in the fresh air?
Just having some coffee. Yeah.
Okay. So you didn't know anything about this warrant? Okay. Our boss will tell you everything about it, man. It's nothing big.
I'm gonna take him. Hold his arm. I'm gonna twist his arm straight. Move your arm back.
I drove this here by coincidence, I think, just so you know. Like the cruiser.
Yeah.
He was, yeah. That's just weird coincidence. I know. Watch out, man. Alright, just turn around.
Hi, Eugene.
Hello.
You wanted water, right? Okay.
I
And
did.
I'll be able to, if we need a break or something, let you know. Okay. Thank you.
I am Detective Agustin. This is Detective DuPoy.
Hi there.
From Montgomery County.
Okay.
I'm sure you're wondering what this is all
I
about.
would really like to know. This has been really hard. Whatever's
Sure.
happening.
We were working on a case that came from Chevy Chase.
Mhm.
And when we were going through the case file, your name was in there as someone that was related to the family, we have a big list of people, but friends, family, something like that. So do you recall back in 2001, Leslie Preer?
Yes, that she was murdered.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So that's the case that we are investigating. So you went to BCC with her daughter at the time?
Correct.
Is that correct? Okay. And what was your relationship with Lauren, the daughter?
We had dated.
Okay. And when did you guys date? Do you remember years?
Exact dates, I'm not entirely sure.
Were you in high school or was it after high school?
Yeah, it was high school. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. Maybe like 1994 to 1997 or something around there.
Okay.
And as detectives explain to him about the DNA evidence, Eugene changes his tune.
Well, we're getting there. I'm trying to give you an opportunity to be a little bit forthcoming before we.
I mean, I feel a little bit trapped here. Like,
Well, you're under arrest, so you should feel trapped.
Right.
Okay?
And so I think, I mean, probably asking for a lawyer is my best course of action at this point.
Okay.
Instead of doing any more discussing or talking about it, it just doesn't seem. I don't understand, so I'd like to have
Well, that's
somebody.
why we're trying to talk to you about it.
I know,
But we can't.
and there's two of you and one of me, so I feel a little outnumbered, and I probably would need some type of representation if I am under arrest, as you said, which I am.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I think that having a lawyer would be the best for me in my interest at this point.
That's totally fine. And we don't have to ask you any more questions, but we are going to just tell you some stuff. Okay? So from the crime scene, the DNA that was taken, we actually have a sample of your DNA, and it was compared to the crime scene DNA, and it matched. So we know that you were there at the time when Leslie died.
But I never gave a sample of DNA.
That's correct. We obtained a sample from a discarded water bottle that you drank out of. So you were followed, and we collected it after you discarded it into the trash, and it was swabbed and it was compared. So your DNA matches the crime scene DNA.
I don't know what to say. I'm not. I have no recollection. I have no memory. I have no. I don't know what to say.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I should have a lawyer present. I don't know what to do or say. It doesn't make sense to me. So I don't know. I don't know what to do.
Do you have a lawyer that you?
No.
Okay.
I don't have to call. I don't know. I probably call my girlfriend and ask her to help. Thoughts? I don't know.
You know, we wanted to try to see if there was another angle or another side to this story, and
I mean,
you know, we know
why would
that
my DNA be there?
That's what we're trying to figure out.
So I don't know. I don't know. You know, I mean, I was in the house, but it was years before. Correct. You know, when I dated her.
Correct.
I don't know. I wish I could tell you. I don't know.
There's no tears coming out of your face.
I'm very dry right now.
You're dry?
I'm very dry. I'm parched. I'm dehydrated. You can probably see my eyes are bloodshot red because I'm just tired and drained. I don't know what's going on. You want me to drink water so I can tear? Like,
no,
what the fuck is wrong with you?
I don't want you to tear. I just don't want
what are you trying to say?
I'm just trying to say that this seems a little put on.
Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me?
No.
Oh my God, you're so full of it. You're after. This is the police. This is, yes, like it makes sense. You know, it's, in your eyes, it's guilty until proven innocent. I get it.
Well, honey, your DNA was in the crime scene. That's why, like, there's a reason.
There's due process, right? Sure. Due process. So you're saying I'm guilty before I've even been put into a court of law?
I'm saying that there's probable cause to believe that you were there when
I think what you were saying was the contrary to that. So okay, but I don't remember. I don't know. No, I don't know.
What we're trying to figure out is how your blood was at the scene that day.
If there's an alternate explanation, that's why we wanted to talk to you today, okay? So I feel like you just need to take a breath for a second, okay? That's what we're trying to figure out. Why is your blood there?
Could it have been, you know, an interrupted burglary? Did something happen where you didn't expect anybody to be home?
I have no idea. I don't remember. I don't recall. Again, you're asking me questions. I don't know.
I'm not asking you a question.
You did. You just asked me a question, and I asked for legal representation, and you guys are very smug looking at me like I've done something, and of course it's innocent until proven guilty, right? Sure. Am I wrong or am I right?
You are entitled to your due process, absolutely.
This is insane. This is insane. I don't know, I don't have any recollection of being involved with any of this.
You keep saying you don't remember and you don't have any recollection. Well, but if somebody was not involved, it would be an adamant, I didn't do it.
I didn't do it. I definitely didn't do it. This is absolutely, this is, you know, I've been an alcoholic in recovery for years now. I've been sober for years. And there are many, many times in which earlier life wasn't great. You know, abusive father, issues that, you know, But at the same time, this isn't something that I know I didn't do it. I know I wasn't involved. And I just don't understand how this has come to this. I really wish I knew. And I really wish I could give you some answers and give you more feedback from an honest perspective, because I just don't know. I just don't know. I don't
know either. That's why we wanted to talk to you. I don't know why your blood is there.
Eugene continued to feign ignorance and asked for an attorney, effectively bringing the interrogation to an end.
We're gonna go right back to where you were. Again, it's not long.
Can I request like a blanket or something for that room? It's really cold.
A blanket?
Like something to put over me, or like an extra layer of clothing or something?
I don't know if they provide that. Like I said, I'm kind of a guest here as well. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have that.
And they mentioned I'd be able to make a phone call.
Let's walk and we could talk about it. She could probably explain the process here in DC. I don't know when they allow you to make a phone call.
But despite having the killer in their custody, detectives still didn't know why he killed Leslie. And things take an unexpected turn when Eugene pleads guilty for second-degree murder before the trial.
Knowing your mom so well, what do you think her reaction was when she saw Eugene?
I think she was probably in shock, and I think she was like, you know, Lauren's not here. What's going on? And then I think he got scared because he was in the house and she saw his face and knew exactly who he was, and then he freaked out.
Given Eugene's criminal past and the fact that his brother Andre often looked after the Prier family's pet, investigators believe Eugene may have taken the house keys to break in, possibly to steal, but he did not expect Leslie to be there. In a moment of panic and rage, he snapped and killed her. Eugene never provided a clear motive, stating only that he blacked out. On August 28, 2025, Eugene Gligor was sentenced to 22 years in prison, along with 5 years of suspended probation.